include Mecca, Johnson, and Kinsman and Vernon. The storm area that we're watching very closely is moving between pretty much Mecca and Johnson. And Hannah, did they do an update with that as they just updated that tornado warning? I was curious if they have any discussion on if they're seeing any more reports or hearing anything on that.
They are not saying anything. All they have done so far is just continue that warning. Right now, saying the storm capable of producing that tornado is located near the Cortland, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. The storm also has that it can produce some quarter-size hail as well as this storm continues to push off to the northeast. But that they are continuing that at this time.
All right, Hannah, thank you very much. And, just looking in here, as Hannah was talking there, I was looking at some other products. This storm up here around the Orwell area. Now, this is up in Ashtabula County, starting to show some signs of rotation with it, too. So we'll have to wait and see. That's up in Ashtabula County. If you're living up there, we're also watching that closely, too, as that moves across Route 6, pushing over toward the Colebrook area and Route 11. That storm's starting to show some signs of rotation with it. But this storm that's in Trumbull County, yes, officially under warning for another 9 minutes here until 7:30. I'm not seeing strong signs of rotation. But anytime you have storms like we have tonight, you can get quick little spin-ups. And it doesn't take long for that to happen, for these to spin back up. But right now, not seeing it at least on radar currently. But the area, if it did spin up, would be around the Johnson area, heading up toward Gustavus here. Riggs Road, moving just north of Route 5 here in north central Trumbull County. So I'll back this out a little bit just so you can get your bearings of where we're at. We're up into north central Trumbull County. All points south, I don't see any signs of rotation. It's all just some heavy rainfall, lightning, flickers, maybe a little gusty wind here or there. But up in Trumbull County, still dealing with this rough weather now moving out of Mecca. But right now, the main concern would be between Gustavus and Johnson, pushing toward the Kinsman area of Trumbull County as we continue under a tornado warning. But I am not seeing that tight rotation, and that would basically be these little squares and rectangles very close to each other. Not seeing that right now here north of Route 5 okay, so we just passed Johnson on Route 5. If we can go back to our live drive action cam here, we're getting back up underneath that storm there, and not seeing many branches on the road, and maybe our live drive can let us know if they've seen anything like that or any damage out there in that direction. Nothing. So far, just rain, and that's what we like to see. That is Route 5 heading over toward Johnson there, and it looks like just some moderate rainfall. So good news. Hopefully the power is still back on in most of those locations here tonight. It looks like we're just entering there the Route 11 crossover there on Route 5 there. So there you go, 88 and 5 crossing Route 11, heading over toward Johnson here. Not seeing any damage. Haven't heard of any damage up across that area, Hannah, unless you've heard otherwise as far as storm reports go. And that's the kind of things we want to hear. No damage. That's good news here tonight. So there's our live drive. I've been kind of chasing this storm up underneath of it as it makes its way across Trumbull County. We're still going to stay with this storm until this warning officially ends at 7:30, and then we'll get you back to programming. Other storms across the area that we're watching do not show any severe potential at this time. They are all below severe thunderstorm limits. The only area otherwise is the storm that we're following here as you look at live drive action cam. And as we get back into Storm Team 27 Viper radar, this storm is now pretty much across Mosquito Lake on the east side of the lake, pushing into Johnson. Now, live drive just crossed over. So what you watch there, we just crossed over Route 11 here on Route 5. So we're driving right up into it. So if live drive sees anything in here, we're going to catch it as it drops. If they get anything, of course, they'll yell back at us, and we'll get back into our live drive there as it moves on in. But right now, over the Johnson area would be the area of concern. But what I'm seeing here on Storm Team 27 Viper radar is I do not see any big signatures that would indicate a spin up with this storm. So that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see here this evening as these storms move on through. So currently still officially under a tornado warning, and it could pulse right back up and spin one up. But right now I'm not seeing that as we look at Storm Team 27 Viper radar here across northeastern Trumbull County. So watching very, very close here as these storms move through. I am getting reports of some rotation in the clouds, and you're going to see that here even outside of these storms as they move on through. The wind's very turbulent, so underneath even on the outer edges of these storms, you're going to see a lot of spinning clouds around. But right now, the tornadic portion of this storm, if you were seeing and worried about it, would be around the Johnson area, Gustavus, and Kinsman. That would be the region. So pretty much up and down 193 from Gustavus to Johnson and from Route 5 north. That would be the area that I would be concerned about as far as rotation goes of any tornadic potential currently. And that is also moving right toward the Kinsman area of northeastern Trumbull County. Now, Jamestown, Greenville, this storm will be tracking in your direction in western parts of Mercer County as it makes its way on in. And Hannah, the Weather Service out of Pittsburgh, have they said anything whether or not they're planning on extending this warning or not? Just curious from their standpoint.
They have not said anything at this point. As you have mentioned, I'm looking here behind the scenes, not seeing much in terms of rotation with the storm. Definitely not as strong as it was just a little bit ago, which is some good news, but still, the storm continuing to push off to the northeast into Mercer County as it makes its way out of Trumbull County. And I will be watching back here to see if we see any more reports, anything from the National Weather Service as we head throughout the next couple of minutes.
Okay, and as we look at this, and I'm going to zoom in here, and then we're going to get right back to our live drive action cam, but I want to show you where our live drive action cam is, because we're going to get right up underneath this area that our live drive's in Johnson and going to go up 193. If there was anything spinning up with this storm, we should be able to see it here underneath of it, just about to the east and northeast. So as we get into live drive action cam here, I want you to pay attention to the right side of the road and over in that direction, because that would be where the quick spin up would be. Now, at the same time, we are now driving into the path where if there was a quick spin up or a tornado, we should see damage at that point. So right now we are basically driving into the area where the tornadic portion of this storm, where the rotation was, would have pretty much been. And here's our live drive right now as we move north out of Johnson into that region of Trumbull County here as we work our way across this tornado warning, getting up underneath the storm. Now, I personally am not seeing anything here from a physical standpoint, a vantage point that is concerning cloud-wise underneath this, but I'm not standing outside either at this point looking at it. And so we're watching this very closely, but we would be right in that path where if there was a tornado, we should see a little bit of damage as this moves through here.
And Paul, they did go ahead and let that tornado warning expire for Trumbull County.
So they are going to let this end. We're at 7:28, going on 7:29. And so this officially ends at 7:30. So we will cover this until the bottom of the hour here at 7:30. And then we're going to let this warning go ahead and expire. As Hannah just mentioned, the National Weather Service is going to let this tornado warning be canceled at 7:30. You'll see that flash off your screen at the bottom of the hour. And you said you have not heard anything out of Pittsburgh, Hannah?
I have not. Pittsburgh has not mentioned anything yet about this storm.
Okay, and so we'll see whether or not they issue any new warnings on it as it moves in. There are no other warnings going in our region right now as we will conclude our broadcast here on air right now. We will continue streaming at WKBN.com and WYTV.com here as these storms move on through, but we will let you get back to your regular programming here at the bottom of the hour, as this is our policy, as we always have done this in the past and always will in the future. If there's a tornado warning, we're on the air covering it, and we're here for your safety. We want to keep you safe. Fortunately, we have not heard of any major damage reports out of this storm so far this evening. If you do have reports, we want you to send those in to us here at our reported tab, but we'll let you get back to your regular programming as we continue to stream live at WKBN.com. If anything else flares up, and we're getting toward the backside of this, by the way, we're almost done with the severe weather threat. We will get back on air. There it goes. Tornado warning just expired. Currently, we only have a severe thunderstorm warning going for northern Trumbull County. We're going to continue with that at WKBN.com.
Vidya Ravel and our returning champion, a writer and creator.